Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Vugdeveen with Sioux Valley Energy, and today I'm sitting down with Chris Graff, our Director of Operations, to discuss some of the cooperative's upcoming work. This week, Sioux Valley Energy will be converting a portion of Rock County, Minnesota over to a new power supplier, which is a major undertaking and requires significant planning and coordination. If you have any questions, please type them into the comments below and we will try to answer them live on the air. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Carrie.
Well, first of all, can you tell us what's happening in Rock County this week and why are we making these changes?
Yeah, so 10 years ago in 2015, Sioux Valley Energy, along with 11 other cooperatives, agreed to purchase Lion Energy's facilities in southern Minnesota. That amounted to about 43,000 members of Alliant. Of that, about 900 were in Sioux Valley Energy's territory. So those 900 members, we have to get moved over off of that Alliant Energy system onto our L&O power system in southern Minnesota.
Okay, so I see that you have a graphic up on the screen there. Can you walk us through that operational timeline, the areas of work and what's going to be happening?
Yeah, so a lot of the work you're going to start to see happening on Wednesday, July 30th. So the blue outline here is all of our SMEC area that we have. The members that we have in Beaver Creek, as well as down in the town of Steen, have already been moved over onto our L&O power system. So the members in those towns shouldn't experience any planned outages this week. So if they do, we certainly encourage them to call in and let us know. Most of the work on Wednesday the 30th is going to be concentrated down in this hills area. So all of our members in that area are going to see outages on Wednesday, and you also see a lot of traffic and a lot of work taking place down in that area. After that, we move forward, and on Thursday, we'll concentrate more over from that Ash Creek area over up into Canaranzi. So all of our members through that entire stretch are going to see outages on Thursday and a lot of work taking place in that area. And then we'll finish up the work on Friday up in the town of Magnolia. So all the members of Magnolia will have an outage on Friday to get moved over onto that L&O system.
Okay, so we did have a question that had come in previously, and it was about the duration of these outages. Now, will they be rolling outages? Will they be extended? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so we try and keep them in short duration as we absolutely can. And again, like I kind of mentioned here, they won't necessarily be rolling outages. They'll be kind of pockets in areas that we work in. So again, the areas down in that hills area, it's going to be Wednesday morning. You'll see for a start of those. We're hoping to keep those to a few hours in duration. So hopefully maybe early afternoon we'll start to see some of those coming back online. And then on Thursday, as we shift over into that Ash Creek and Canaranzi area, again, you're going to kind of deal with the same things. We'll see outages starting in the morning, try and keep those to a few hours in duration the best we can. And then on Friday, for our members up in Magnolia, we'll start those outages in the morning. We're hoping those are maybe a couple hours in duration at most in that area.
So I think a lot of us have seen some of the warnings or the forecasts for the inclement weather that could hit this region tonight. How would that, if any way, impact the work that will be done in southern Rock County?
Yeah, so the work that we've talked about here, that's our best schedule that we have. That's what we have planned now. Obviously, Mother Nature has a mind of her own. So if she gets here tonight and we deal with a lot of damage, a lot of storm repair that has to take place, we're obviously going to have to adjust some of this timeline. So with this being planned, we'll get notifications out to the members here with timelines. But if we do get some storm damage tonight, we'll try and update that schedule as quick as we can and get notifications out to all those members on what that adjusted timeline would be. With the work that we have scheduled, I think we have enough work this week to get that built into the schedule if we have to delay it a little bit. But we'll try and get that notification out as soon as we can to all those members of what that adjustment would be.
So notifications are obviously an important part of this process. What's the best way for members to get notifications? Yeah,
so the best way that you can is if you have the Smart Hub sign up for that, go in and make sure that all of your contact information is up to date. Phone calls, emails, text messages, whatever method that they have chosen to get those notifications, how those are going to come through. So we encourage members to get on Smart Hub and make sure that that's up to date. If they haven't signed up for Smart Hub yet, the notifications are going to go out based off of what information we have on our file for those accounts. So we also encourage all the members, call in, talk to one of our member service representatives, and we can verify what information's on file and make sure that that's up to date so they get those notifications.
Okay. So what is the process for the outage notifications this week to the members in the affected areas of the conversion area?
Yeah, so up to date, we've sent 2 letters out to all the members in that area, kind of describing the work that's going to take place and some tentative timelines that we had for that. As we move into this week, the members are going to get those specific notifications for their area. So that's going to be based off of what they have in Smart Hub or on their files. So that would be phone calls, text messages, or emails, whatever they've chosen for that, or a combination of all of those. The other thing we're going to try and do is do social media updates as much as we can to try and keep members, informed on what's going on as we move through that entire process. The one thing we want to encourage members is they're going to receive those outage notifications that they have. So when we set up an outage, they get a planned notification. So they'll get a message that says we have an outage planned for X date at X time. But once we actually start that process and that member sees that first outage. So the first thing we're going to do is our crews are going to go to that substation. They're going to open up that main line through there. At that point, all members off that main line are going to lose power. All of those members are going to receive an outage notification for that. To do that work safely and progress with that, the next step that they take is we'll go through and we'll open up the line that feeds off of that main line into their location so that our linemen can work safely in that area. So they're going to receive a second outage notification at that time. The third step, as kind of a protective measure as we do that conversion and move over, is to go remove the meter at all those members' locations. So at that time, the members are going to, at that point, receive 3 outage notifications for that area, and they're obviously going to be without power still at that time. As the crews finish up their work and we get ready to start bringing that system back onto the new Illinois power system and bring that back online, the first thing they're going to do is go back to the substation and close that main line in. At that time, the member is going to receive a restoration notification, but they're still not going to receive power at their house because we have that tap line going into their house still disconnected, as well as their meter out for that. So the crews will work their way down. The next step they'll do is they'll energize that kind of tap line going into those locations. At that time, the member is going to receive a second restoration notification, but they're still not going to have power. That allows the crews to check voltage at the meter, make sure everything's looking good before we energize into the member's home so that we don't cause any inadvertent effects with inside the member's location. So that last step is then the crews will move up, they'll put that meter back in at the member's location, and at that time the member will have power. So the thing we want to iterate to the members is however many outage notifications you get, you need to also receive that many restoration notifications before you'll have power back at your location.
So, real easy. If you get 2 outage notifications, you need 2 notifications that say that your power is back on.
Yeah, correct. So the illustration we just walked through is based off of kind of a typical setup, but not every location is like that. So some members might receive 2 outage notifications, they might receive 3, but the important thing to stress is however many outage notifications they get, they need to receive that same amount of restoration notifications before they'll have power back.
Okay, and that makes signing up for Smart Hub really important.
Absolutely, yeah. We definitely want to stress getting signed up for Smart Hub and making sure that information is up to date and you receive the notifications how they want to receive them.
And you can find that information on our website of
Correct.
how to sign up for Smart Hub. So how will this conversion benefit Sioux Valley Energy members?
Yeah, so the Alliant Energy system that we have is a very well-built system. It's performed well for us for the last 10 years. But the Illinois power system that we have there, we have a lot more delivery points into that system. The Alliant Energy system, we only had 1. So when that went down, we had to get that worked around and back up before we could get those members back on. The Illinois power system is going to provide us a lot more options for redundancy and reliability in that area, while still utilizing that same Alliant Energy system that we had before, just from a different source on that power supply.
Okay. Before we're getting close to the end of this, but I do want to remind our listeners and our watchers that they can submit some questions. And if you have questions that come in or you think of after the fact, sure, give us a call so we can get those answered. Anything else you really want to mention about next week's conversion in Southwest Minnesota?
Yeah, I just really want to stress, you're going to see a lot of traffic and a lot of crews out there doing that work, and, we're trying to get this through and wrapped up as quick as we can and get that moved over. But, please be patient and make sure you're giving the crews plenty of room to work out there and work safely.
And it's taken a lot of planning and coordination, I know.
Absolutely. This has been a process 10 years in the making, and so we're hoping all goes uneventfully and as smooth as we possibly can.
All right. Chris, it doesn't look like we had any questions, but thank you for your time today. And again, if anyone has questions, they can sure give us a call, our operations team, at 1-800-234-1960. And as a quick reminder, as Chris mentioned, there will be a lot of Sioux Valley Energy personnel and vehicles in the southwest Minnesota area this coming week. Please give them space, slow down, move over. All right, thanks for joining us live on Facebook. Have a great day, everyone.